Hey everybody, today I'm here to do another book review, so welcome to my room. I'm the Lady Kayla, and today we're going to be covering Steven Erikson's Gardens of the Moon, and this is book 1 out of a whopping 10 books. So, in general, I loved it. It had so much intrigue and action and politics and internal struggles that I was satisfied from page 1 to the last page. So let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about the characters because they're what make the story for the most part, and there are a lot of them. There are so many characters that I can't really go into detail about all of them. In fact, I think I'm going to skip names and individual story arcs and character motivations in order to just give this kind of coverage for the characters in general. Now, like I said, there are a lot of characters and each one has their own motivations for doing things, their own alliances, but they don't have a rock solid motivation that drives them throughout the book. It's very much human in the sense that they have to react based on whatever situation that they're thrown in, and I think that is amazing. I know that I like your classic character arc with your hero going through the journey and making the growth, but here it's not like that. It's your characters getting thrown into so many different situations and having to fend for themselves or rethink the way that they were thinking previously, to, be placed between a rock and a hard space and making what's best out of the situation. So all the characters are definitely based on situational motivations rather than personal motivations. And that's not to say that the characters don't have personal motivations, but it's not the driving force of the book. The characters definitely have to be more reactionary than this is what I think and I have to do everything to make this happen. Even when you come across characters that are like that, they still have an internal struggle. They still have actions to consider or react to that may force them to deviate from the path that they thought that they were taking. So I think characters are spot on, A+, love it. Because there are so many characters, there are a lot of point of views. Yes, this is a point of view book, a multi-point of view book, I should say. And Erikson decides to allow all of them, I'm exaggerating, but most of them to have their own point of views. And unlike A Song of Ice and Fire, where George R. Martin puts the character name for the chapter so you know when the transitions are happening, there's just an extra space in between each character point of view that you're getting. And so sometimes if you're not paying attention, you start reading a new chapter and you're like, wait, I'm not in the same setting that I was before. And even if you were in the same setting, you're onto a different brain than you thought you were. So yes, tons of point of views, and because of this, you are switching from scene to scene rather rapidly. And in this case, while that might seem overwhelming, and honestly, it kind of was, it made the story unique to me, and it actually made me more invested and interested in what's going on, because we have so many storylines in the same universe, and you know that they are all connected in some distant way, and you're not given a lot of information per point of view. So it's really amazing to see how things end up connecting, and it's not predictable because of the way that it's set up. It's very hard to just predict what's going to happen, and I actually rather like the challenge of having to wait to see what's happening instead of my brain already like, I already know what's going to happen here. So I really loved that. And the setting is a very warlike setting, so you are given a lot of action, and it's not action as in battles between entire groups of people. It's more covert. The action usually ends up being between two like small forces, or maybe even one-on-one. And I think that's pretty amazing. So for story, you have a little bit of it all, in my opinion. You have the setting of being a wartime setting, so you have your political intrigue, you have your personal you have your political intrigue, you have your personal motivations and thoughts and struggles, you have your kind of underground kind of perspectives, you have your, by underground I mean people who are not high up on the political tiers and do things more from a spy or a thief kind of level. You have you just have so much going on, and I absolutely love it. Another part of the story that I am in love with is that it does have your classical fantasy elements. You have your magicians, witches, wizards, mages, whatever you want to call them. I think the book uses witch and mage. You have your deities, which I think, wow, the way that they incorporate the deities' interactions with the mortals is really spot on. I like how chaotic the deities end up being, so you end up being a little withdrawn from what the deities are doing, because deities, I feel like you're not really supposed to understand them. They're supposed to be a little bit more chaotic and mysterious with enigmatic motivations, and I think that Erikson captured that very well. You have your dragons, and you have other kind of fantasy characters that include other races and talking animals, and I think that's amazing. You have prophecies and dream walking, and there's just so much going on with your fantasy elements. So you're still getting a fantasy, but the way it was presented, I did not feel like I was reading your standard typical fantasy. So I feel like this is new in a way. If you want to try something a little different and unique, this is definitely where to go for that. I feel like a lot of things were wrapped up in this first book, but it was wrapped up in order to set up for the next book, because there are 10 other books after this. There are 10 other books after this one, and I am interested to see what's going to happen, but I'm also wondering 10 books. What exactly is gonna happen here? One thing that I did not really like about this book is you were introduced to, the big bad, the character that is supposed to be the ultimate, the character that is supposed to be the ultimate baddie, the one that's supposed to cause the most chaos and problems for not just a certain party of characters, but for all the characters. And then the baddie got defeated in pretty much record time. Not to say that he was defeated in a really lame way, but at the same time, I felt a little disappointed. It was anticlimactic. But again, like I said, there's 10 more books, so we don't know what's gonna happen. Because of the way that it went out, I'm going to assume that baddie's gonna reappear. And another drawback is because the multiple point of views and the switching between point of views happens so rapidly, you may find yourself a little bit lost, a little bit confused. There's so much to remember, so many people to remember, and each person has like special roles to offer the story and to offer to the other characters that you have to kind of be on top of it, or else you'll be like, wait, what does that character do again? Wait, who was this guy again? Oh, I thought that was what's his face, but I guess not. So there's a lot of things like that can happen if you're not paying attention, or if you put the book down for an extended amount of time, which unfortunately I had to do a few times, and step away from it for like a week or more at a time. So that's another drawback with this. There are a lot of elements when it comes to the magic that Erikson presents that make me a little confused as well. I really love the way that he does the magic for his world, but there were some things that happened that I am rather confused about myself, and so I'm going to have to reread or look up something extra to see what it is that I was confused about. But I think if you pay attention, you should be okay. I can't wait to read the rest of the 10 books, and hopefully I can do a little bit of reading between each of them, because I don't know how many of you have actually read the series, and if you haven't, I'm going to assume that you're going to watch this review, and it would be pointless for you to watch the reviews for the rest of the book series for the most part. So I do want to get a variety of book reviews done for you. Meanwhile, trying to get the rest of the reviews for the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. So, I'm excited. I do want to finish it. I can't wait to see what happens. I just want to devour the rest of the books. But we'll see what I end up reading next. Thank you guys for your time. I can't wait to see you guys again with more book reviews. Please leave any questions or debates that you want to have in the comments below. We can chat it out, and I'm excited to see what you guys have to say. Thank you for your time. Bye.